The new school looked different. It's where rich men children study. Story buildings with white paint. It felt different from the one in Okoko. Quiet, serene environment. No shouting, just voices that carried books, not noise. Samuel clutched his bag tightly on his first day. It was the same one he has been using, faded, with one broken zipper. His new classmates wore crisp uniforms. Their shoes shined. He felt like a shadow among them. At break, he sat alone on the far end of the school field, reading a novel. Someone approached him, a schoolmate. The boy was tall, confident, with neat braids and polished glasses. He wore his uniform like it belonged to him. Everything about him screamed city boy. "You're Samuel, right?" the boy asked. Samuel nodded. "I'm Jackson. I saw your story online. It was everywhere. I would have kept the money." Samuel looked at him, startled. "I mean," Jackson shrugged, "I grew up here. That kind of money. People say you're a fool for returning it. My dad did. Called you a soft boy." Samuel didn't respond. "But I think what you did wasn't soft. It was risky." Still, Samuel didn't say anything. Jackson laughed softly. "You don't talk much, do you?" "No need," Samuel said finally. But Samuel was thinking. Because Jackson seemed different from the others. Smart, confident, but there was something behind his eyes. Like he was hiding something, or maybe running from it. Samuel had seen that look before, in men who owed people money, but refused to pay. He didn't trust it yet. But something told him he'd need to. Weeks passed. Wallet boy. Charity case. Jackson teased Samuel. He introduced Samuel to chess, taught him how to use the computer lab, and explained how to survive without looking like you're trying too hard. "Blend in, but don't vanish," Jackson said. "It's an art." Samuel appreciated the help, but he still didn't know what Jackson wanted in return. One Friday afternoon, as they walked out of school, Jackson asked, "You ever been to a koi?" Samuel shook his head. "My place is there. Come tomorrow. Let's hang." Samuel hesitated. "I'm serious," Jackson said. "I'll even send a car." That night, Samuel asked his mother. She frowned. "Who is this boy again?" "A classmate. He helps me with school stuff." She looked at her son's face for a long moment, then nodded. "Be back before dark." Jackson's house wasn't a house. It was a compound. Samuel felt like he'd stepped into a different Lagos, one where problems wore perfume and pain dressed in gold. Jackson greeted him on his arrival. "Come in. Are you hungry?" Inside, the air was cold and the floors were marble. A woman in uniform brought snacks. Samuel sat on a white leather sofa. Then Jackson showed him his room. It was bigger than Samuel's whole house. "You like video games?" Jackson asked, powering on a console. But Samuel wasn't paying attention. Because next to the shelf of games, he saw something that froze his spine. A black leather wallet. Exactly like the one he had returned. Samuel didn't say a word about the wallet. Not yet. He stared at it while Jackson scrolled through games. The wallet was sitting on the edge of a shelf, black leather, slightly worn, with the same faint silver stitching he remembered. His throat dried. There could be dozens of wallets like that in Lagos, he told himself. But something about this one. "Yo, you good?" Jackson asked, noticing the silence. Samuel forced a nod. "Yeah, just tired." "You want to sleep or play?" Jackson asked, still tapping buttons. Samuel shook his head. "I think I need to go." Jackson blinked. "You just got here." "I forgot something at home. I need to go." Jackson shrugged. "All right, I'll call the driver." But as Samuel waited outside for the car, one thing pulsed in his mind. What if the wallet wasn't a coincidence? He'd never heard Jackson mention Mr. Fulani. But the man was powerful, connected. He had lied about the wallet being returned by his driver. What if Jackson wasn't just some random rich boy? What if he was Mr. Fulani's son? Samuel didn't sleep that night. He lay awake, eyes open, mind racing. Pieces were connecting, sloppily but clearly. If Jackson was Mr. Fulani's son, then it made sense. The house, the money, the quiet arrogance. The way he said, "I would have kept the money." Out of all the new students, why had he befriended me? The next morning, Samuel sent a message to Janet. "Can we talk? In person, urgent." She replied immediately. "Come to the cafe, noon." Janet listened without interrupting. Samuel sat across from her, explaining everything. The wallet, Jackson, the invitation, the house. Her eyes narrowed, lips pressed tight. "Did you see inside the wallet?" she asked. "No," he said. "I didn't touch it." "Good," she said. "Very good." She paused, then leaned forward. "I suspected Mr. Fulani wasn't done. Men like him don't let go of power easily, especially not when it threatens their image. If Jackson is his son." Samuel looked up. "You think they planted him?" "I think. It's possible. Or Jackson acted on his own. Either way, this isn't small anymore." "Then what do we do?" She gave him a long, steady look. "We make a choice. Either we walk away quietly and protect your peace, or we pull the thread and see what unravels." Samuel thought for a long time. Then he said softly, "He used me. Lied to people. Got all the credit. If I walk away now, what was the point?" Janet nodded. "Then we pull the thread." The next day, Janet dug deep. She contacted a friend in real estate and confirmed it. Jackson's house was owned by an offshore company, but the trail led to one man, Mr. N. Fulani. Same address, same fingerprints. Jackson was his only child. And suddenly, the pieces clicked into place. Mr. Fulani knew his reputation had taken a hit. Public sympathy had swung to Samuel. But instead of apologizing, he'd sent in a softer weapon. His son. Build a bond, get close, regain the story. Control it again. Janet printed every document, every screenshot. The plan was simple. Confront Mr. Fulani privately. No cameras, no drama, just the truth. Janet reached out through one of his corporate contacts. Told him they had something to discuss, alone. He agreed, surprisingly fast. They met at a neutral venue, a quiet business lounge in Acadia, GRA. Mr. Fulani came in wearing a crisp white shirt and sunglasses, like he was walking into a photo shoot. He didn't shake hands. "Let's make this quick," he said. Janet opened her file. "Your son befriended Samuel, in what looks like a calculated move." Mr. Fulani didn't flinch. Boys make friends. Not when one of them just ruined the other's public image. He smiled coldly. "You wanted a headline. You got it. Congratulations." Samuel spoke for the first time. "I never asked for fame. I just did what was right. But you lied. You used me, and now you're using your son." Mr. Fulani leaned back. "The world doesn't reward purity. It rewards power." Janet placed the documents on the table. "This can go to the press tomorrow. Or you can do the right thing. Finally." "What do you want?" he asked, eyes narrowed. "An apology. Public. Your own words. And support, real support for children like Samuel. No PR stunts. No fake foundations. Just action." Mr. Fulani said nothing for a long time. Then finally, "Fine." And he walked out. The apology hit the internet like a storm. Mr. N. Fulani issues public statement. Admits lying about wallet incident. Commends young boy for integrity. It was short, clipped, and clearly written by a PR team, but the words were there. "I regret the misrepresentation surrounding the recovery of my wallet. The credit belongs entirely to Master Samuel Adeyemi, whose integrity reminds us of the values we too often forget in our pursuit of status." The article trended. News outlets replayed it with dramatic music. Celebrities reposted it again. But the tone had changed. Now, the world saw Samuel as more than a lucky street boy. He was a symbol, a quiet, stubborn voice that refused to be swallowed. But something else happened. Janet didn't expect the blowback. She honestly didn't, as she posted the story on impulse, driven by something deeper than outrage, maybe guilt, maybe instinct, maybe a need to see decency win, just once. 2 days after the post went viral, her work laptop locked her out. No warning, no HR memo, just a polite message on the screen. Credentials revoked. Contact IT. At first, she thought it was a glitch. Then she saw the email. Subject line: urgent review of conduct. Tone: corporate cold. Language soaked in terms like unauthorized exposure, conflict of interest, and reputational risk. Her manager wouldn't meet her eyes in the hallway. Her colleagues even muttered, "Why'd you have to go so far?" as if integrity had a speed limit. By the end of the week, she was invited to take a leave of absence. Unpaid, indefinite. She lost her job as the marketing manager. But losing her job wasn't the worst of it. The threats came next. Not direct, they come in whispers. In hushed phone calls that IN anonymous DMs from burner accounts with usernames like Think Twice Girl and Know You Are Place. One message simply read, "Next time, mind your business. Some waters are deeper than they look." Another, "You think you're a saint? Let's talk about that contract you handled in 2021. It shook her for a night. Then she laughed. They had nothing her, but they were scared. Still, the pressure seeped into her bones. Her rent was due in 3 weeks. Her savings wouldn't stretch forever. And Lagos, for all its noise, grows very quiet when you're jobless and principled. Some friends told her to apologize. To retract the post, TO say it was misinterpreted. She didn't. Instead, she started freelancing. Quietly. Marketing strategy for brands that didn't care about clout, just conscience. It paid half what she used to earn. But somehow, it felt like more. People she hadn't spoken to in years messaged her privately. "Saw what you did. Thank you." One in turn said, "You gave me courage. I resigned from a toxic boss." Months later, 2 NGO founders reached out, not with contracts or clout chasing, but with real, thoughtful interest. "We've been looking for someone like you," one said, "someone who understands how to tell stories without diluting the people inside them." She agreed to consult, not for profit, for purpose. Sometimes, the smallest decisions echo the loudest. In a world where doing the right thing often goes unnoticed, Samuel's story reminds us that character still matters, even when no one is clapping. If this moved you, if it made you think twice, then don't just walk away. Subscribe, share, and stay with us. Because the next story might just be yours or someone you know.